Crazy things are happening. Crazy things are happening. Now, listen, you guys. Another day, another episode of Advovo BBL, basically proving to the entire world just how much illiterate she can be. This time it is with Jessie Woo, and Jessie decided to mop the floor with Advovo BBL's in a wig. We're going to be talking about that, and we're also going to be discussing about Nicki Minaj allegedly being featured on Drake's upcoming album, and Lottery Ticket. People are alleging that in fact she is pregnant, and she's also confirming that her album is coming out. Meanwhile, Rory and Mo are out there trying to discuss about Nicki's sit down, and they're discussing about this entire cancellation and whether it's going to be effective or not. Hello, tea lovers, and welcome to the Tea Block. I trust you guys are doing well, and I trust you are doing great. Personally, I am doing great. You guys, I am doing extremely amazing. And without further ado, let us dive straight into today's tea. So, first of all, let's talk about Lottery Ticket. Now, there's a video that is recirculating of Lottery performing on stage, and you can clearly tell that there's a little bit of a bulge in as far as the stomach is concerned. Now, people are saying that, well, in fact, she was pregnant in that clip, and people are speculating that the reason why she's been sort of MIA is because she is, in fact, pregnant for 21 Savage. Now, when it comes to that, I would say that it's certainly a choice for a child-free, young and of course rich young woman to basically come together with a married man allegedly and procreate. Now, in as far as I've been saying that Lottery can sometimes behave like a dad, sometimes it seems like she does struggle with identity crisis, I really would still like to believe that she has just a little bit of reasoning not to have a baby by a man, especially if that man is still together with the alleged wife. Now, I do know that a lot of her fans like to say that the marriage between 21 Savage and his wife is solely because of the papers, but still, that's a very messy and complicated situation, and I would hate for Lottery to put herself in that situation. Like, what are you going to gain from that? You're literally telling me that in this entire world, you couldn't find anyone who doesn't have any messy attachments and stuff like that. It would really be sad, if this is the route that she has decided to take. I mean, she's someone who clearly takes pride in, not messing with a lot of men and all of these things. So I would really hate it, for her to preserve herself, her dignity, just to end up laying down with an alleged married man and to make babies with that man. But then again, I do know that for some of you guys, this is goals to you. You're probably going to come in the comment section talking about, oh my God, she can do whatever she wants. This is democracy. We like it. We love it. Power to you. You guys will go around saying that. But personally, I do feel like she deserves better, in my own opinion, in as far as where she is as a young woman, than to be entangled with a man, with a baby mama or a wife. I would say that when it comes to dating, somebody that is not necessarily my favorite, female rapper, but someone that I would applaud in as far as dating is concerned, is Bongo 2. Because in as much as men may stand here and label her all names, oh my God, she's loose, she's laying down with different men and all of these things, she is stingy with her womb. And personally, as a young woman, I do feel like this is something that you need to know. Don't just be out there thanking men with the head of a human being. Like, oh, thank you for being with me. He is the head of a human being to thank you for that. Like, no. Be stingy with your womb. If there's anything that the elders ever taught me, it's that. If there's anything that you are to take away from this video, be stingy with your womb. Do not just procreate for the sake of it. Sit down with the decisions and figure out if really this does make sense, especially when it comes to these men that have, history with other people that might not necessarily be steady or stable histories. So if anything, I hope Lottery Ticket does take a lesson from Bongo 2, because look at the man calling her all type of names, but she's with Clay, and Clay, as far as I know, is not a baby daddy. So to me, that seems like really Bongo 2 does know how to move, because there's no need for you to burden yourself with the situationship, being young, hot, as well as financially stable. There's no need for you to entangle yourself with that. But let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about that. Still speaking about Lottery Ticket, she's out there letting us know that her album is done. She had a couple of words to say actually about the upcoming album. Let me look for that screenshot. Okay, so in an interview, this is what she had to say. She said, I'm working on a new album, and no lie, I do not think I've ever been more excited to share a body of work. With my last album, Sugar Honey Iced Tea, I felt like I bet on myself and took a step into a new chapter. This is feeling like the new and improved version of that. Now, of course, conversation is now, starting in as far as the so-called album is concerned, with some people feeling like, well, it's too early for her to be dropping yet another album, and some people feeling like, well, it is strategic here, saying that her album is done, given that Nicki had initially announced that her album is going to be coming this year. And so people feel like, well, the girlies are now starting their games, where whenever Nicki is about to release, they do feel like that's the time they have to run around and also release their own albums. And so let me know in the comment section, you guys, do you think that it is too soon for Lottery Ticket to be releasing an album? Or do you feel like, as somebody who claims to write her own songs, it's never too soon? Because, I mean, if she is a writer, it means that majority of the work she's doing, it's not like she has to summon a lot of ghosties, to write on her behalf. Even if she's getting help from 21 and Drake, that's just like two ghostwriters. It cannot be compared to what Advovo BBL does. I mean, at least you can put 3 or 4 lines together without the assistance of both men. The same cannot be said by Paddison Fontaine's face. I mean, the face of the brand Paddison. But anyway, that being said, let me know in the comment section what you think about Lottery Ticket. Do you think that it's going to be an interesting year or not? Let's move on to the next thing, okay? Let's talk about Onika Tanya Maraj. Now, fans are speculating that, in fact, she might be featured on Drake's upcoming album. You guys know that, well, the internet is waiting for Drake to drop, including even those, podcasts that were bashing him left, right, and center. I guess at this point, they're also just looking for content, and so they're looking for something to talk about, because let's be honest, it has not been the same since Kenny decided to just do his thing and go into a very long hiatus. Now it seems like, well, maybe the podcast brethren doesn't have any content to talk about. So whether they like him or not, they do know that, well, they need some new content from the man. So this man posted a picture of some bubbies, which has led to fans thinking that, well, maybe Nicki is featured on the upcoming album, given that, well, a lot of people, especially in the rap community, whenever they see a Barbie doll, they relate it to the Onika Tanya Maraj. Now, of course, this is being received with mixed feelings, with some babs being excited for new music, and some people feeling like, well, at this point, they feel like Drake should be out there trying to regain, his own reputation or popularity by himself, given that himself and Lil Wayne didn't exactly come through for Nicki Minaj during the H Train. I do know that, well, when the H Train was, really starting the Remy Ma era, they did come to her rescue, but that was just about it, okay? Later on, Drake went further to actually bring out Advovo BBL and calling her also the hardest working female rapper in the game wasn't exactly helpful to his so-called sister. So let me know in the comment section, are you one of those people who are excited to see Nicki Minaj on his album, or do you feel like, well, he should stand on his own? Now, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let us talk about Advovo BBL and Jessie Woo. It seems like Jessie is out there not having it when it comes to Advovo BBL. Well, it all started with her reading a comment from a subscriber. You guys know how YouTube works. Sometimes these people, pay for comments to be read out loud on streams and stuff like that. And so this is exactly what happened. Jessie read out a comment from a subscriber, and this comment was basically insinuating that Advovo had a revenge baby. Now, let me read what the particular comment actually said. So this commenter said, "Ooh, I agree. However, since Cardi is the only bird brain that let Twitter know the chef contacted her, I tend to think Cardi was the girlfriend that told her, to recount her story, okay? But that being said, this was in response to a comment, the I agree part, where that comment was alluding to the fact that, well, Advovo had a revenge baby, and it was basically talking about this entire Stephon Diggs situation, where Cardi basically outed herself for communicating with the BBL chef. And, even on this channel, I spoke about how that was such a dumb and daft move. I think anyone with any common sense can tell that that wasn't very smart of her. But as usual, obviously, I don't know, one of her fans or one of, I don't know if it was Ken Baby, I don't know who it was, decided to carry this tea to Advovo BBL. And it seems like the tea was relayed to her as if Jess, please, you guys, forgive me if I refer to Jessie Woo as Jess Hilarious. I'm sorry. I might, interchange their names, but I'm talking about Jessie Woo. So they told Advovo BBL that this girl was talking down on her, and she went in on her, basically inciting some form of xenophobia. And, it seems like Jessie wasn't here for it. Now, personally, am I surprised that she gets to act like this? When you look at the comment, it wasn't even that deep for her to lash out on her like this. But as usual, she knows that she can and get away with this because a lot of black women do give her a pass. So at this point, I wish I could rally behind you, Jessie, but unfortunately I can't, because when she does this to black women that you guys do not like, you do not call her out. You say she is funny. So for me to just turn around and start giving a hoot about what this girl does to who, I'm sorry. It just doesn't make any sense. We've been screaming and talking about this entire situation since the beginning, but out of spite, you guys have chosen to call this girl funny when she's disrespectful towards other women that you don't like. So why would I be out there rallying behind you in support of this woman? Just why? Please explain to me. Now, I might be mixing Jessie Woo and Jessie Hilarious, up, but is there not a situation where this girl was out there disrespecting Nicki Minaj? Jumping on the bandwagon? Am I making this up? Please tell me, where do we stand with this girl? Because if I remember correctly, there's a time that I chose to not watch her because there has to be something she said, that made me just detach and be like, okay, if we're moving like this, if we're going with what the masses are saying and not being objective, unfortunately, that's not what we are doing over here. Let me know in the comment section, you guys, if I'm mixing her up with Jessie Hilarious. But that being said, we've been saying the same thing about Advovo BBL, and just now she knows that there are no repercussions to what she does. She knows she can get away with anything. You guys gave her that power, so to me, it's just like if Lori, what's her name? The Lori from The Real, that lady. I don't want to be disrespectful. That lady, that calls her Auntie Lonnie. Oh, now I'm saying Lori. I'm sorry. It's Lonnie Love. It's like me rallying behind Lonnie Love when Advovo BBL finally turns on her and calls her out of her name. Like, you won't ever catch me doing that. Because at some point, these are some of the women that were applauding Advovo BBL doing ridiculous things, giving her passes out of spite, for Nicki Minaj. So why would I be out there rallying behind you now that that lady, the monster that you created, has finally decided to turn on you? No. But that being said, it seems like Jessie Woo is a woman who stands by, what she believes in, because she didn't retreat when Advovo BBL started throwing insults her way. She decided to also read her down, called her illiterate, called her a lot of things. And I'm just looking and I'm like, let's see how this is going to end, okay? Maybe, knowing Advovo BBL, she's going to give this girl a call when she realizes that this has gotten out of hand and people are not supporting her for the nonsense. She's probably going to call Jessie, spiraling and crashing out on the phone just to initiate a conversation so that she can come and say, oh, we spoke about it behind the scenes, because right now people are beginning to call her out on the nonsense. But let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about that. I will insert a clip of what Jessie had to say, and then I'll catch you guys after that.
Cardi B, you are a gaslighting, illiterate nincompoop. And before you even think of responding to this, I want you to spell those words with no hesitation. And I also want you to tell me the meaning. Because in addition to those characteristics being very, very accurate when it comes to you, I also feel that you have some sort of, it is my opinion, that you have some sort of learning disability. I feel like you have aphasia or something. But we know with all the money that you have, you'll never actually put that money towards confirming whether or not you do have a learning disability and correctifying it. That's how much of a nincompoop you are. Okay? Now,
I feel like crying.
I want you to spell those words with no hesitation. And I also want you to tell me the meaning. Because in addition to those characteristics being very, very accurate when it comes to you, I also feel that you have some sort of, it is my opinion, that you have some sort of learning disability. I feel like you have aphasia or something. But we know with all the money that you have, you'll never actually put that money towards confirming whether or not you do have a learning disability and correctifying it. That's how much of a nincompoop you are. Okay? Now, let me make myself clear before I play back these clips. I never said anything about your child. Never said anything about you keeping your child, not keeping your child. I was on live. People were placing their comments. And when you are on live on YouTube, people send super chats. And I do think it's smarter to pre-read them. I try to, but sometimes the super chats are coming in so fast that I don't pre-read. But just making myself clear, those were not my original thoughts that you're going around saying that they were. I'm going to go ahead and play what you said first, and then I'm going to go ahead and play what was actually coming out of my own live. Hold on.
Okay, there you heard that, you guys. There you heard that. Now, the last thing that we're going to be talking about, Mao and Rory. It seems like these men have decided to sit together again to discuss Nicki Minaj and her political beliefs, whilst making excuses for other celebrities who might or might not have been paid, for their own influence in as far as politics is concerned. So yeah, let me insert a clip of what Rory and Mao were discussing, and let me know in the comment section, you guys, who makes sense to you amongst these men, okay? But I don't think that after that I'm going to be coming back. So that being said, thank you very much, you guys, for watching, and thank you very much for making it this far. If you have not already, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button and do turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified each and every time that I post. I post every single day, and I keep you updated on what's happening in the celebrity world on Instagram, on Twitter, and about all things trending. Until my next one, see you.
Somebody not
Read, practice what you preaching.
but above all,
But
just like I
also,
said,
it's
it's
entertainment.
anybody that's trying
Are
to
they supposed to?
cancel somebody, 9 times out of 10 they never even supported that person.
Or they were waiting for the trigger. But they
Yeah,
can't
like, they
change their
don't-
mind. They can't change their mind and say, I really supported this person, but they really a dumb MF.
Or it could be something where I could support Nicki, right? That don't mean I have to agree with everything she's doing, but I'm not gonna say cancel her because she supports a politician that I don't like. I'm just like, damn, Nicki, I don't like that, but I still like you.
I think Nicki looked nuts on that stage. I
thought Megan looked nuts on the stage.
I don't disagree. I
Yes,
think,
both of them look
by the way, I've been very vocal, even though I'm very much no party, but I do lean left on the moral side. But I've criticized, I think Democrats have utilized celebrities more than anybody. And I've been very critical of that my entire podcast career. I can also say I think Nicki is being used and looks fucking insane
Yeah, she looks like she's being
on
used.
that stage. And I think she's now alienating a huge part of
Her fan base.
her audience that has supported her for so long. Now, with that said, I am not fucking Nicki's pastor. I am not God. I'm none of that shit to her. Nicki can do whatever the fuck she wants to do. Does that erase everything she's done for the platform that I love? Of course not. I think it's nuts, and I'm allowed to have that opinion. But to now say we erase everything Nicki's ever done in her fucking life is crazy.
But you're
I think-
mature. These people are different.
Well, no, a lot of the people that are doing that are more so to Maul's point. They already hated Nicki and are on a certain side. They will excuse behavior